Okay, so let's see the results of today's challenge. Questions were tricky today. So on lower beginner, someone got less score. Like,
Upper beginner.
oh, sorry, upper beginner. Sorry, my fault. let's see it. So. By team. So, who do you think is going to win today?
We have a person.
Yeah, you think it helped or?
I think he just didn't finish anything.
Ah, okay. Okay. Anyway, we will take it into account. So let's see Team Alpha. It's quite good score. Casey got more score than Briman Panos. So then Bravo won, even with the help of the.
It wasn't help there.
Yeah. No, in this case the help would be not help. But yeah, well done. So let's see the code. I like reviewing more the upper because you can type the code. On the other ones, it's like most of it is already there, so there's no much variety. So let's see then. Just a second. Here. So the first question was quite straight away. Everyone did the same thing. Adam called it array R and val. It's better if you are more specific, but it works anyway. Because an R could be an R of many things, right? Could be strings, could be booleans, could be arrays, could be. But if you specify numbers, we know that it's number. And likewise with val. Yeah. So then, question 2 was about creating a new set to remove one value or add it. The tricky part in this one was that the delete method returns doesn't return what you have to be returned to pass the test. So instead of returning the new array, return something else. So probably in this one you need to try a bit more, right? So yeah, everyone did almost that. So Ebrima, I liked his naming. Casey as well, and Panos. So it was, yeah, I like your naming convention. And Adam, Daniel, and Marian, array, value. It's always. But in this case, now that I'm looking at the question, yours is better because it's an array, but it's not always the same data. It could be fruits or it could be numbers. So in this case, array and value is a better name. Not always the more specific is the better. Depends on the situation. Third question. So we needed to find which artist is sexy. So Daniel, Marian, let me zoom it. You don't say anything, I don't realize. Yeah. So we were on the third question. Yeah.
So on here, obviously that you can do it in two different ways. Like obviously using variables and by assigning everything to a variable and then getting the name of it. Would you say that you get more points if you do?
No, it's the same points. Actually, I mean, as long as it's readable, I like one-liners. But I guess it depends on the person. Some people think it's going to think that it's better to split it to make, because first you're storing the sexy artist in a variable, the whole object, and then you are just returning the name, or doing it all in one line. Something simple like this I think is okay. If you're doing something more complex, either you split it in lines and you with right indentation still can be readable, but if you keep it like this, it gets complicated to read. But because this is a simple situation, it's fine. So yeah, as you said, Team Bravo created a variable and then returned the name. It's the same points as long as you don't pass the maximum length of the, I think it's 75 characters, you are going to have the same points. Yeah. And this person was on Team Bravo and tried the same approach as well, even not being here. Yeah. Okay. So question 4. Remove duplicates. So this, we can see how simple it is to remove duplicates using a set, right? You just create a new set and it contains the unique values, and then you make it an array again, and there you go. You remove the duplicates. So yeah, there is another way using the spread operator that I like it even more, but this one is good as well. This is actually the one suggested, because on the training on beginner there isn't a topic for spread operator, so that's why you have the array.from. So yeah, getting the max value. Oh, this one is another one that is much easier to solve it with the spread operator as well.
We tried, but
I'll do it in a second.
didn't work.
So you want me to review the other ones first, or to solve a couple of these?
I think it just gets to the low. I think if you can solve the one that obviously the guys faced.
I'm going to solve.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to solve this
Just that
one.
one.
Then we take a look at the other challenges. So let me go again to challenge. Here. So here. So I think it was the. Oh, sorry.
The last one.
Okay, so you have numbers, right? So you do like this, numbers, and now they are inside an array, and the array is called numbers. So now we return, and then we do math.max, and then inside we need to pass a list of numbers separated by commas. So the way to do it is to spread the array again. There you go.
How you guys try to do that?
Without the spread operator in the max function, just numbers.
Yeah, because you were trying to get the maximum
From
of an array.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll review the other ones now. Lower intermediate. Still this one, the quiz one. Yeah. But there wasn't as much Street Fighter mode as expected. So you did quite well. There was even one person who got almost maximum score, this orange. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, you didn't have help in this one, so let's see, Team Alpha. Oh, 88, that's a good score. Casey, Panos, and then Nebrima. Then, oh, 95. Yeah, so yeah, it was close anyway. Like, this is a good score.
Business as usual.
Okay, so is there any question? So let's review the questions. Is there any question you don't understand well that you would like me to do from scratch? Like, for instance, this multiply one. It's about higher order functions. Or this one, size of. But this one is quite straight away. Just to count, they get the size of a set. This one can be tricky if you don't know how sort works. This one is tricky. And this one, yeah, this one was about the every, and to read well the explanation of what you are expected to return. Then I think it's okay, right? You don't need me to solve any one of these. Eh? Sort, the sort one. Okay. Let me see which was this one. Yeah, let's do it then. So, question 3. I'll do it from the training to do it from scratch. I think so. Is JavaScript. Which one is it? Is it in objects, maybe? Strings? I need to find where it is first. I didn't solve many of these yet. Maybe it's objects. No, it's not objects. Do you know in which topic it is, or is it the first time you found it? It's not strings, maybe arrays. This one, right? Yeah. So let's do training, then upper, intermediate, arrays, and let's get to that question. This one, right? Yeah. I don't want the tooltip there. Please move. Okay. Let me, if I change the zoom. Okay.
Maybe if you give some space at the top.
Or maybe if I refresh. Yeah, now. Okay, so yeah. So we have an array with a few objects, and each object is the name of an actor and the date it was born. So how should I call the array to make it semantic? Actors, for instance. Yes, I like it. And now we have to return another array with the actors sorted by the date they were born. So we need to return first the actor that was born last, right? Yes. So return and then actors. So we need to sort them. We use the method sort, and then we need to pass the compare function. It is a bit weird the way it works, and it takes two arguments, usually called A and B. And then let's call it actor A, actor B. And then the way to tell sort that we want first, the one that is that has the highest number, is to put B and then minus A. So let's do actor B minus actor A. But the thing is, this is not going to work, because what we want to check is the property inside the object that tell us the date, the year. So we need to check .born on each one. So if I test it now, I'm going to have the same array with objects sorted by the born. So I'm going to do it just to show you. So you see, now we have first the actor that was born the latest. So, but that's not what we want, right? We want an array with just the name. So how do we get an array to be a different array with the same length? What should I use? Dot what? Map. Okay, and now we have again actor, because each element is an actor, and then on each element of this new array, what I want to return is just the name. So actor.name, very well. And there we go.
Why do you have only two? So on line 3, you have actor A and actor B.
Uh-huh.
Why do you have only two?
Because it's the way it works. It's going to compare each element of the array. So it's going to get the current one and the next one, and it's going to make a comparison, and then it's going to sort them.
So it goes first one minus, second one minus third one minus fourth.
It's a bit. It follows an algorithm. I don't remember. It's a bit complicated to explain. Basically, if you want the highest first, should be the second parameter minus the first one. If you want the lowest first, should be actor A minus actor B.
Do we have a workshop on this?
Yeah, definitely. Or you can do it if you want. It's one of the topics they did. You know that you have to do a workshop, right? So one of the topics a student did on the previous cohort was about sort. So if I do this, for instance, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be first the lowest and then the highest.
And so regardless of
You
the
see?
number of values that you have in your array,
Yeah.
you only have two parameters.
Yeah, because you are only comparing two each time. Okay, so I'm going to quickly check the other ones because they were tricky, and I think I don't want to solve them. Let me just check. The algorithm today was very, I don't know, didn't favor you. So yeah, 3 people solve some of them. Let's check. Oh, so actually Team Alpha.
Well, we haven't, I mean, we saw few, like 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, because they were difficult. I don't know what happened with today. I don't know. The odds that this happened are not very high, because you got all the difficult questions today. So, yeah, it wasn't a bad score considering how difficult the questions were. Eh? The score?
One of us answered at least one.
I don't know. I don't remember.
We just let's see the questions and then we'll remember.
Oh, they don't get scored or?
They don't get scores because they didn't submit any.
It's skipped everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's 2 or something.
So let's see in detail. Okay. So this one, yeah. Oh, this one, I can actually solve it if you want. It's a bit, it's not that it's too difficult, but you have to type a bit. So then the second one, adapt the results. Yeah, so basically,
Something was weird here. I tried with map as well, but it told me that map is not a function.
when it says that, is that you are applying map into something that is not an array. When you do map is not a function, you should try to see what it returns without the map.
Yeah, I see the difference then.
Yeah.
I forgot the dots.
What the dots?
Only 3 dots.
And this one as well, like look how many code you need to type for an intermediate.
That's exactly the way I wanted to do.
So yeah, the tricky part probably
Yeah.
was this, right? Okay, so Brima got it right as well, Panos. Yeah, a team effort. Adam, yeah, I think the problem was probably these 3 dots here.
Well, you didn't for each of
For ages as well, and then.
Uh, where are you using for each?
the second line for each of.
Second line? Oh yeah. So the thing is, I don't like, it might work, but I don't like for each because it's not pure. You are modifying the input. With map, you are always returning a new array. You're not modifying the data. It's not a pure function. So it's a pure function, sorry. If you use for each, you're modifying it. Like the original array, then if you use it again, it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
So the question 3, some people tried. This one was tricky as well. Had a few conditions. And this one, I'm surprised. Because this one is...
There was a link that was sent it to a Stack Overflow page that
Uh-huh.
was kind of
And-
explained as well.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, because otherwise it's not intuitive at all how to solve it, right? Okay, so how old the person was on a given date. You got it right as well. Then Team Bravo, got the first part, I think, was right, and then on the second part, let's compare what you did with.
I mean, we got it right, but I just don't understand that minus equals 1.
Was, I felt like it was more like minus 1.
Is that minus equal means so is div years equals div years minus 1. It's the same thing. Type in that, or it's just a shorthand to remove 1 from itself.
Oh yeah, why couldn't you do div years minus 1?
Because it's longer. It would be div years equals div years minus 1. You're repeating, right? If you do minus equals 1, you are not repeating the div years. I mean, it's more readable the other way, but this way is drier. But in the end, it's the same thing. You were trying to write their name was 0. You were trying to hard code the result, right?
I didn't know.
Okay, so let me see which one. Maybe this one. I can try to solve this one, the third one, and yeah, this one was solved. You got it. The only thing you didn't get was the otherwise you would have got it right. And I can do this one as well. So I'll do the first one and the third one. Yes. So yeah. So let's do it. That's it. Yeah. So we needed to check that we have enough money to buy the junior spec. So yeah, we have total change and we have to divide it by 100, right? Total change divided by 100, and now we have the pounds, and we need to check that is greater or equal than this string. We need to remove the pound sign from there, so we can do amount due dot slice 1. What slice does, it gets the string and is going to return everything from the index we are specifying. So we say slice 1 is like saying I want that string from the index 1. So it's going to give us, in the first case, 1999 without the pound. And we need it to be a number, right? So number, and I think this is it. Let me just test it. Yeah, this was it. Easier than it looks, right?
Well, why do we have to divide it by 100?
We need to divide it by 100 because here we have pounds and the change is pence, and 1 pound is 100 pence. Okay, so I'll go to the third question now. This one. So this one was difficult. So the arrays have to contain some data. So that means that the arrays can be empty arrays, and then the result of adding the values must be greater than or equal 0, and also we can have nested arrays. So how do we check that a value is an array? Do you know? No?
Array dot is array.
Very well. Array dot is array. Right. And we want to check that the value we're iterating on is not an array, right? So I'm not sure. Let's try it like this, and then if it doesn't work, we modify it. So we need to check this. Then we need to check that no, we need to check that it's an array. Yes. Sorry. So if it's an array and the result of adding all the values of the array is greater than 0, so how do we know? So we have this helper function here, sum, that is going to give us the sum of the numbers inside, right? Yeah, so this is going to be the last condition. So first I'm going to check that c.length. So 0, as you are going to know when you try to solve the word challenge this week, is a falsy value. So yeah, if we make it like this, true, and then if we check also and the last one is the sum.
What have you typed at the end? Double ampersand.
Yes, double ampersand. And if the sum is greater or equal, oops, what did I do? No. The sum is greater or equal 0, then we add 1 to the total. Otherwise, we keep the same total as before. So let me test it. Oops.
When you call sum,
Oh.
Question mark.
Yes. And now I'll answer your question. Just a second. So what did I do? Reduce of undefined.
then you need to put C in brackets.
Yes. Reduce of empty array with no initial value. So I did something wrong. So let me just check. Yeah, no. Okay. So
What was it?
was because I was passing this condition wrong. I needed to check first that it wasn't an empty array in order to call the sum method, sum function, because otherwise you can't run reduce on an empty array. So what was your question, Adam?
No, that's all good.
Okay. Any questions about this? I can make it more readable probably if I do this. Then I'll put it here. Oops. Now some see. Now, yeah, now it's the same. Okay, let's check if someone solved any of the upper intermediate.
We did.
At least a couple of them were doable. So again, I don't know what happened today. Like the questions were like the most complicated questions on intermediate. So Let's see. So last one, Team Alpha won. Who will win this time? Let's see. Alpha got 19. Bravo. Sorry. Bravo. Oh, that was really close. Yeah. It was a good fight. So, yeah, let's see what you did. Mhm. Okay. So this one was quite easy. You had an array with flowers that had a capital D. That was a capital first letter. Sorry, that was. Eh? Yeah, that was the tricky part. The capital. The rest, oh, probably Brima didn't submit or didn't have time. When it's like this, I think. Oh, Jaime, hello. Then the second one, Adam skipped. Everyone skipped. Yeah, this one, actually, I don't understand what is expected, what we are expected to return. So then this one is quite easy. I can solve it now if you want.
But we didn't understand.
No, we didn't
the
understand
question
exactly
at
what
all.
is.
So basically, you need to return how many letters are repeated.
And when you say letters,
Eh?
Not how many times it is calculated.
Just how many letters are repeated in total. And then, yeah, this one, no one got it. And then, yeah, this one as well. So I'll solve the third one and I'll leave it for today. So let's go to the third one. So this one we had to type the function, like function spell, then we pass the spell, and we return. We need to check the length of the spell, so spell dot length minus the length of the spell without the repeated values. So how do I get a collection of data with unique values? You did it before on another exercise. New set, yes. Very well, Rima. So new set, and then we pass the spell. And we need to check the size, right? And would this be it? I'm not sure. Let's check. Yeah. So yeah, was
What is dot size? What does it do?
is the equivalent to length for sets. So what was your question?
I asked if you could repeat that from the beginning again.
Yes, yeah. So I'll do it from scratch. So we have the spell that is a string. So we're going to check the length of that string. So spell dot length. Now we want to check how many values are repeated. So if we remove the repeated values, we can have the number. So we do new set and then pass spell, and this new set is going to be the characters inside this spell, inside this string, without the repeated ones. So if we check the size of it, it's going to be the size of the unique characters, so without the repetitions. And then, so if we subtract that to the original length, we have how many characters are repeated. Oh, elegance penalty. Yeah, this is a new data structure from ES6 from 2015. It's quite useful. Like something as simple as this, as removing a duplicate value, before was much more complicated. Now you just make it a set, and there you go. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. We're already late. So thank you. I'll stop streaming.